very good afternoon, softball fans, and welcome to Little Falls High School, where this afternoon on Flyer Media Productions, it is girls softball, as the Little Falls Flyers, a record of 0-2 overall. They are 0-1 in the Granite Ridge, take on the Zimmerman Thunder with a record of 1-1 overall and 1-0 in the Granite Ridge. Hello everyone, James Hershey with you. Glad to be with you once again for Flyer Media Productions Sports right here on Channel 181, also on YouTube. Our fine students behind the scenes doing the camera work and the production today, along with the advisors, that being Mark Deal and Karen Warner. Let's talk about these two teams very quickly, as it is the third game of the season for both teams. For the Little Falls Flyers, coming off a 4-2 loss yesterday to the Royalton Royals to drop their record to 0-2 on the year. They opened up the season at home last Friday with a 11-1 5-inning loss to the Mora Mustangs. So they're looking for their first win here of 2019 under first-year head coach Tony Kuchar. Tony, obviously the head hockey coach at Little Falls for the past 26 years, and has now taken over at the helm of the girls softball team here. This is his second year with the team, but the first year as the head coach. On the other side, for the Thunder of Zimmerman, they come in a record with 1-1, as we mentioned, had a 14-0 win against Malacca on Friday, and then yesterday had a 10-2 loss to St. Francis. They are coached by Emily Zahn, as that team comes in once again with a record of 1-1 on the year. Let's take a look at the offense and defensive setups. First of all, for the offensive side, for the Zimmerman Thunder, leading off and playing second base is Riley Miller. Batting second is the left fielder Presley Haas. Batting third is the shortstop Ella Haas. Batting fourth is the pitcher Kenzie Orlean. Batting fifth and playing third base is Jolene Putnam. Batting sixth and playing first base is Hope Wiley. Batting seventh is the center fielder Maddie Johnson. Batting eighth, the right fielder, is Maddie Hayes. And batting ninth, the designated player that is Sylvia Lund. And the very first pitch is a fair ball, just drops in front of second base, that being held there by Doe that is, and it drops in for a single as Riley Miller is on, and just like that we are underway with softball action here on Flyer Media Productions. Allie Steinmetz is the pitcher, and the first pitch that she throws this time is a called strike as Presley Haas, the left fielder, batting. Miller reaching on the pop-up in the infield, and it will be a base hit. We'll set up the defense in just a moment. Pulling back the bat there is Haas, and a called strike, and the count quickly 0-2 on the batter, Presley Haas. Steinmetz is the pitcher for the Flyers. Pitch on the way in the dirt. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Behind her, she's got Catherine at first, Doe is at second, Seeger is at short, and Poser is at third. Behind the plate is Zimmerman. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And so Presley Haas caught swinging, and there's one away. And that will bring up her sister, the sophomore Ella Haas. Presley, by the way, is just a 7th grader. Ella now, the sophomore, the first pitch she sees is high for ball 1. Kapan is in left, Hudak is in center, and Klecko is in right. That is the defense for the Flyers. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's high, and the count even makes that goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Allie Steinmetz, the pitcher. Her pitch is high. There goes the runner to second. The throw not in time, and in safely to second base with the stolen base is the leadoff hitter, Riley Miller. So Miller with the stolen base, runner in scoring position with 1 out. And the count 3 balls and no strikes on the batter. Here's a high fly ball to center field. Hudak calling for it. The wind knocks it down. Hudak makes the catch, quickly gets it in. And Haas is retired on the fly out to center, and there's 2 away. 2 outs, and that will bring up the pitcher, Kenzie Orlean, the sophomore, in the cleanup spot. The runner on second at 2 outs. Here in the top of the first, no score. Steinmetz's first pitch just a bit high and outside, and the count goes to 1-0. Allie coming in is 0-1 on the year. On the mound so far. Here's the pitch, and this one will back up the box, and that'll be a base hit into center field. Will they wave the runner home? They will. Here's the throw home. The tag applied. She is out. The throw was a little bit up the line by Hudek, but a great job there by Zimmerman Cameron to come over to make the catch and then just apply the tag on Riley Miller to end the top of the first inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, no one left on. Half inning complete here. Flyers softball on Flyer Media Productions. It's Zimmerman, no score, and coming to bat, Little Falls. Back after this in just a moment.
Couple over your shoulder.
We go to the bottom of the first inning, and that hit by Orlean was the second hit of the inning. So Miller the leadoff hit, and then Orlean the hit to center field, where Sadie Sue Hudak picked it up, threw it into home, and Zimmerman Cameron makes the catch and then tags out Miller up the line for the third out. So the official line, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and no runners left on. As we go to the bottom of the first inning, here's the lineup for the Flyers. Sadie Sue Hudek will lead off. Batting second is the catcher, Savea Zimmerman. Batting third is the third baseman, Abby Poser. Batting fourth at second base is V. Doe. Batting fifth and playing shortstop is Madison Siegler. Batting sixth, the pitcher is Allie Steinmetz. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Carly Capan. Batting eighth, the first baseman, Megan Catherine. And batting ninth, the designated hitter is Rachel Watuki. First pitch was a called strike. Second pitch outside to Sadie Sue Hudak, and the count goes to 1-1. Hitting .857 on the year. She's 6 for 7 in the first 2 games. This one popped up towards us and will just go off the backstop. And the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Once again, Kenzie Orlean is the pitcher. Got a base hit, but her runner was thrown out. The pitch is low, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. No runs batted in yet for Hudak this year in game number 3. This one fouled down the right field line. Coming in is Hayes, and Hayes will make the catch in foul territory for out number 1. So there's 1 out. And that'll bring up the catcher, Savea Zimmerman. And the first pitch to her in there for a strike. And the count at 1 on Zimmerman, hitting .200 on the year. This one a little flare out to left center field, and actually the shortstop, Haas, is going to go back, and Ella Haas makes the catch about 2 steps into the grass for the out. So 2 up, 2 down go the Flyers here in the bottom half of inning number 1. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Abby Poser. And the first pitch to Poser is low for ball 1. Here's the 0-1 offering in there for a strike, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, no score. Here's a ground ball, that one just foul down the first baseline as Wiley took a stab at it, but it was in foul territory. And the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes on the number 3 hitter, Abby Poser, is hitting .600 on the year. She's 3 for 5 and swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that will end the inning. Flyers go down in order in the bottom of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. 1 complete here. And we are scoreless. Little Falls, Zimmerman. Back after the short break on Flyer Media Productions. So we go to the top of the second inning. No score between Zimmerman and Little Falls girls softball. Third game for both these teams. Current standings in the Granite Ridge has Becker, Mora, and Zimmerman all 1-0 so far. Little Falls, Malacca, and Albany are 0-1 in conference play. And Foley and St. Cloud Cathedral have yet to have any conference games. That changes today as there's a full slate of games. We'll tell you about that in a minute. Here's Putnam, the 5-hitter. And the first pitch to her is low for ball 1. The junior third baseman, Jolene Putnam, stands in on the right side. Steinmetz's pitch outside, and the count goes to 2-0. 2 hits in that first inning for the Thunder, but were unable to score with the runner thrown out at home. Pitch on the way, and just outside. St. Cloud Cathedral Athletic Director Emmett Keenan behind the plate today. He's the umpire. Pitch is high, and it's a 4-pitch walk. So a leadoff walk for the Thunder puts Putnam at first. And that'll bring up the number 6 hitter, the first baseman, the senior, Hope Wiley. Steinmetz's first pitch in there for a strike. And the count goes to 0-1. On the batter, Wiley. That pitch missed outside. The count evens up at 1-1. Alley coming in has an ERA of 7.5. As we mentioned, the 0-1 record. There goes the runner, and she will slide in safely to second. So Putnam steals second base. Runner in scoring position with nobody out. Exactly the same scenario as it was back in inning number 1. So Putnam now at second. Count is 2-1 to Wiley. Pitch is high. And the count goes to 3-1 on the first baseman, Wiley, with first base open here. Here's the 3-1 offering on the way. Ground ball back off of Steinmetz, and she is hurt. Picking up the ball at first is Catherine, unable to run it down, and time is called. And let's see here how Steinmetz is doing. She took that one right off. It looked like around the wrist area of the glove. Right away out of the dugout came Laura Larson along with head coach Tony Kuchar. So hopefully she's okay and can continue here. I guess if there's a good thing, it wasn't her throwing hand, but doesn't matter if you're in a lot of pain and it's your catching hand. Looks like she's taking your time, but looks like she's going to be okay. Let's give a chance for head coach Tony Kuchar, too, to be out there for a minute to kind of talk with his infielders, as that's exactly what he's doing. Other games going on today in the Granite Ridge. Maple Lake is at Becker. Mora is at Proctor. Foley at Malacca. That's a conference game. St. Cloud Cathedral is at Albany, another conference game. And, of course, our game here, Zimmerman at Little Falls. And they're going to let Allie have a few throws here to make sure she's okay. First pitch looked good there, so it looks like she'll be still in on the game. And runners will be at the corners here with nobody out. So it'll be an infield hit. It's the third hit of the game. Still scoreless here in the top of the second. Zimmerman and Little Falls. And coming to the plate will be the number 7 hitter, the center fielder senior, Maddie Johnson. See if they maybe send the runner here, Wiley. There's Wiley, the throw down, and a good job there by Doe to knock it down. Sliding in safely is Wiley. And now we have runners both in scoring position at second and third with nobody out. And the count 1-0 on Johnson. There's a changeup that just missed. Just a bit outside, and the count goes to 2-0. Flyers in a jam right now. Here's the pitch on the way. That one fouled at the plate. And the count will go to 2 balls and a strike. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Probably can hear the wind blowing and the anticipation of some snow arriving here in the next couple days. That nice cool breeze out of the north-northwest today here for this Flyer softball game. Here's the 2-1 offering, and the changeup missed high, and the count goes to 3-1. First base is open. On deck is Maddie Hayes, the number 8 hitter. Putnam at third, Wiley at second. Here's Steinmetz' pitch, back to the screen. On the foul ball, and the count will even up. Should be a full count, I believe, at 3-2. Nope, they'll say 2-2. Here's the pitch on the way, and that missed outside. And now the count runs full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the top of the second. Thunder got something going. Pitch is high, ball 4. So 2 walks and a hit this inning. And the bases now are full of Thunder with nobody out, and that will bring up the number 8 hitter, the sophomore, Maddie Hayes. Now a force at all bases. There's a ground ball shot there to Poser. Knocks it down, goes over, and cannot make the tag there. And everybody is safe as Poser tried to touch the runner from second to third. That being Wiley, unable to do so. Coming in to score is Putnam, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Thunder. That is a fielder's choice, and the bases are still full. And the first pitch is outside for ball 1 to Savay Lund. She is the number 9 hitter for the Thunder. Here's the pitch to Lund. It's high by Steinmetz, and it's now 2-0. So 1 run across so far. Wiley at third, Johnson at second, Hayes at first. The changeup and falling down there in the circle that time was Allie Steinmetz. Looks like she's all right. And the count goes to 3-0. Here's the 3-0 offering, and that one just caught the plate. And the count goes to 3-1. Three balls and a strike, nobody out, bases loaded, and a foul towards the Flyer dugout. They're occupying the third base side. Zimmerman on the first base side. And the count runs full once again at 3-2. Diamonds would love to see if she can get a strikeout here. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball foul down the third baseline. And we'll do it all over again. 1 run across so far on a hit and a couple of walks. The Thunder so far 1 run on 3 hits in the game so far as we're in the top of the second. Nobody out. Here's the 3-2 offering. Called strike 3 right at the letters. And that is the second strikeout of the game for Steinmetz, so that's a huge strikeout. So 1 away, and that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Riley Miller, who reached on a pop-up single in the infield back in the first inning. Bases are loaded. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Changeup in there for a strike. And the count evens up at 1-1. The play now most likely is to come home. The infield playing in front of the bags. So the force is to go home and then one, most likely. Pitch missed high. And the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike, 1 out. Steinmetz's pitch in the dirt gets by Zimmerman. Here comes the runner in. Throw will not get there in time. In safely is Hope Wiley, and it's 2-0 Zimmerman. That'll be charged a wild pitch. First of the game for Steinmetz, and it'll be now a count of 3-1 with runners at second and third with one away. Here's the pitch on the way. This one fouled down the right field line, and this will go over the fence out of play. And the count will go full at 3-2. Here's the 3-2 offering. Change up, and that one just a bit high. And we'll load the bases once again. That's the third walk issued this inning by Steinmetz. Allie coming in had given up just 2 walks so far in her first 6 innings pitching this year. So it'll bring up Presley Haas, the left fielder, with the bases full, nowhere to put her. First pitch is in there, or is checked, but that's a ball. Here's the pitch on the way. It's high. And it'll bring up ball 3. So it's 3-0 just like that. Here's the 3-0 offering in there for a strike, and the count goes to 3-1. Johnson's at third. Hayes is at second. Miller at first. Pitch is high, ball 4. So Maddie Johnson comes in to score. Presley Haas reaches on the walk. That's an RBI for her. Miller will go to second. And now the batter is Ella Haas, and she hits it down to Poser. Throw over to first. It gets away from Catherine. And now running from second to third will be Presley Haas. And so Presley is at third, and her sister Ella with the infield hit is at first. The runner's on the corners, and coming in to score was Hayes along with Miller. There's a pitch that is thrown and called strike, I believe. Well, maybe it wasn't. Must have said ball 1, and stealing and going to second there was Ella Haas. So runners now in the corners. Here's the pitch on the way to Oline, and that's a strike. And the count is even up now at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 offering, and that one just missed. And the count now goes to 2-1. Presley Haas at third. Ella Haas is at second. The batter is Kenzie Oline, the pitcher. Back up the middle. Picked up by Doe. Bobbled it, and no throw to first. And how deep that was actually behind the second base bag, I'm not sure if Doe, even if she fielded that cleanly, would have been able to get it over. And so it will give it an infield hit. And Presley Haas scores on the play. Ella Haas goes to third. There goes the runner, Orlean. She'll go down to second. She's safely there. Has no throw applied whatsoever. They have 5 on the scoreboard. I think I have 6, though. There's Putnam, Wiley, Johnson, Hayes. Nope, take that back. It'd be 5. There's 2 outs, as there was the put out at third base. Here's Doe. She'll get it over to first to Catherine, and just off the glove of Catherine there. And coming in to score the 6th run will be Ella Haas. So Putnam reaches on the air. That'll be charged. It's going to have to be an E on the first baseman, Catherine. I think she should have made the catch there, as Doe did get it over to her. Doe was kind of close to her, but still, the throw was there. So Catherine gets charged with an error, and it's 6-0 now in favor of Zimmerman. This one flared out into right center field. It's going to drop in front of Hudak, and Oline will come in to score the 7th run this inning for the Zimmerman Thunder, and now they lead 7-0 with 2 outs. As a base hit there by Wiley, and that'll bring up Maddie Johnson, who's walked her first at bat and scored this inning. 7 runs across so far on a total of just 3 hits. And this one lifted to right center field. That's going to drop in. Hudak's going to come over. Rounding second and going to third there is Wiley. And Wiley will be at third, and then the stand-up double is Maddie Johnson. Here's the pitch on the way, and that one is just low for ball 1 to Maddie Hayes. 8-0 is our score. 2 outs. Pitch hit the plate, and that should score another run as Hope Wiley slides in safely. And it is now a 9-0 lead. That'll be charged a wild pitch. And Maddie Johnson moves to third as Maddie Hayes is the batter. The count on her is 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That should be in there for a strike. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. There's the pitch on the way. That one just missed inside. And now they're going to say it's 3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch, high, ball 4. So Maddie Hayes reaches on a walk. 5 walks this inning by Steinmetz has led to 9 runs for Zimmerman. And they lead 9-0 with runners now in the corners at first and third. Maddie Hayes is at third. Maddie Johnson at third, Maddie Hayes at first. And Solveig Lund is the batter. Fouled that one down the third baseline. The count is now 0-2 on her. She's 0 for 1, is one of the 2 strikeout victims that Allie Steinmetz has had today. Here's the 0-2 offering on the way. Fouled back into the crowd. Head up. Small crowd here today. Watching this one, braving the weather. Of course, the sun's shining, but it's definitely dipped, that's for sure. Here's the pitch on the way. Base hit to left field. Nice knock right down the left side. And coming in to score the 10th run there is Maddie Johnson. So an RBI for Lund, her first hit of the game. And coming to the plate will be the 15th batter this inning, that being Riley Miller. She walked in this inning and had a single back in the first. 10-0 is our score. First pitch low for ball 1. Pitch missed outside. And the count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Steinmetz's pitch, ground ball, passed. And it'll be a base hit. There'll be a play at 3. Poser lost the handle of it there. Is sliding in safely there is Lund. It looked like she was going to be tagged out, but the ball popped out. And so Miller, an RBI single for her, scores Maddie Hayes to make it 11-0. Lund now at third. Miller is at second. And the batter is Presley Haas, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. Check that. Yep, she's 0 for 1. Walk and then a strikeout. The 7th grader sees a strike. Count evens up at 1-1. Allie Steinmetz's pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. That went around the shoestrings, and the count goes to 1-2. Flyers just trying to get out of this inning and start chipping away at the lead that right now they're trailing 11-0. This one gets away. Nobody coming home, however, as staying put will be Lund at third. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Pitch is high, and the count runs full at 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Called strike 3. And the second strikeout of the inning, third of the game for Steinmetz. However, in the inning, 11 runs come across. Officially, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 hits. There were 1, 2, 3 errors and 2 runners left on base. So after an inning and a half of play here in Little Falls, our score is Zimmerman 11, Little Falls nothing. Back after the break here on Flyer Media Productions.
Here we go.
So you go to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Flyers. Vito, followed by Madison Ziegler and Allie Steinmetz. And the first pitch there to Doe is in there for a strike from Oline, working her second inning. 3 batters face, 3 outs in the first inning, and pumps the heat there. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Doe's. Hitting .333 on the year. She's 2 for 6. Ground ball right side. That gets through for a base hit. And she'll just get across safely. As the throw by Hayes from right field nearly got Doe. Wiley covering there at first, and by a step she got there safely. It'll be a base hit. First hit of the game for the Flyers. That'll bring up Madison Ziegler. First pitch to Ziegler is outside for ball 1 on the shortstop. 0 for 6 on the year. Looking for her first hit this year. Doe at first. See if she's a threat to steal possibly here. Got to manufacture some runs. There she goes. And the throw down, a lob, and safely in there is Doe. So puts her in scoring position. Tempesta is the catcher. She's being flexed today. Here's a ground ball, little tapper to third. Putnam has it. Her only play is to first in the dirt. Nice scoop there by Wiley. And they get Ziegler out, and on the play advancing to third is Doe. So the 5-3 fielder's choice, 1 away. Doe at third, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Allie Steinmetz. Allie seeing if she can get at least a run in here and try to slowly chip at this 11-0 lead that Zimmerman has. Oline's pitch on the way, outside. And the count goes to 1-0. Allie 0 for 7 on the season so far. She's also looking for her first hit. And that one fouled back. Off the plate umpire, Emmett Keenan. They made sure he's okay. Looks like he's all right. There's a called strike. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Steinmetz. Oline's pitch. This one fouled off. That one nearly hit the Flyer Media Productions trailer and actually ends up into the baseball field. Speaking of baseball, Flyer Media Productions will be having some baseball games this year. I think the first one scheduled, if I remember right, is April 26th against the Alexandria Cardinals. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Steinmetz is the second strikeout victim of the afternoon that Oline has had. That's going to bring up Carly Capan, the left fielder. For 2 outs. Popped up right side. This is out of play. And the count is 0-1 on Carly. Carly 0 for 3 on the season. She's looking for her first hit, and a base hit would be well needed right now to bring in a run. Swing and a miss. Good job there by Oline to kind of get Carly to chase after one that was going up the ladder, and the count quickly 0-2 on Carly Capan. That one fouled back. And the count will hold at 0-2. We've run out of softballs for a short time here. As they're all over the place. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 11-0 lead. Half check swing. They say yes, she did. And it's a swinging strike, and that will end the inning. A runner in scoring position for the Flyers. No runs on a hit, no errors, 1 runner left on. 2 complete. Zimmerman 11, Little Falls nothing. Back after the short break here on Flyer Media Productions. So we go to the top of the third inning. Zimmerman leading 11-0, getting all their runs back in inning number 2. And the first pitch called strike 1. Ella Haas is the batter. Pitch missed. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way to Ella. And that one missed, and the count goes to 2-1. Haas flew out back in the first. The center, there's a called strike, 2-2. And then reached and scored in the second. Pitch on the way, and that just missed a little bit high and outside, and the count runs full at 3-2. Here's the 3-2 offering by Steinmetz, and this one popped up to center field. Sadie Sue Hudek's got a beat on it in center field, and she makes the catch for out number 1. So there's 1 out, and that brings up Kenzie Oline, the sophomore pitcher. He's got a couple of hits so far. 2 for 2 on the day, and the first pitch in there for a strike. Count is 0-1 on Uline. Steinmetz's pitch on the way, that's high. And the count will even up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 offering on the way. And this one lifted into right center field. It's going to drop in front of Hudak. And it'll be the 3rd single of the afternoon for Kenzie Oline. And a 1-out single will bring up the 3rd baseman, Jolene Putnam. Jolene is 0 for 1. As this one ripped into right field, it'll drop in front of Kleckel out there. And going from first to third and sliding in, and the throw gets by Poser, but staying put at third will be Oline. On the air throw there, it'll be Putnam moving to second. So back-to-back singles for the 4 and 5 hitters. Oline and Putnam puts them in scoring position. And that will bring up Hope Wiley, who's got 2 hits already today. She's 2 for 2 and scored twice. Diamond's first pitch is high for ball 1. These 2 teams will play again on April 25th. This time they'll play in Zimmerman. Pitch on the way, it's high. And the count goes to 2-0. Flyers are scheduled to play on Thursday against Albany. A game here, ground ball picked up by the shortstop Ziegler. Her throw over in time. A run will come across the plate. So a fielder's choice there, and scoring is Oline to make it 12-0. Putnam does move up on the play to third, as Wiley is out on the 6-3 put on. There's 2 away. That'll bring up Maddie Johnson, who's 1 for 1, has a walk and a single, and has scored both times. As I mentioned, the Flyers play Albany on Thursday, but a pending snowstorm probably is going to change that scheduling. Little pop-up to Doe. She makes the catch. And Maddie Johnson and the Thunder are retired. They do score another run on 2 hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 runner left on. We played 2.5 here in Little Falls. Our score, Zimmerman 12, Little Falls nothing. Back after this short break here on Flyer Media Productions. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. For the Flyers, it'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Megan Catherine, the designated hitter, Rachel Watucki, and we'll go to the top of the order to Sadie Sue Hudak. Once again, Oline on the mound for 3rd inning, in the circle, I should say. Here's the first pitch to Catherine from Oline, and that one is in there for a strike. Catherine 0 for 4 on the season. Looking for her first hit. That's a little tapper. Picked up by Oline. She'll have to hurry, and safe is Catherine with her first hit of the season. So Megan is on with nobody out, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Rachel Watucki. Rachel is hitting for the right fielder, that being Chelsea Kleckel. Ground ball right side, picked up by Miller. She'll throw it over to Wiley for the out. And going to second will be Catherine. So a 4-3 put out of Watucki, 1 away. And that will bring up the leadoff hitter, Sadie Sue Hudak, who is 0 for 1. She flew out to right back in the first. Pops this one up in the infield. Ella Haas going back, and she'll make the catch at short for out number 2. Just like that, 2 away, and runner on second is Catherine. It'll bring up Zavea Zimmerman Cameron. Here's the pitch on the way. Left field, this is heading. Going back is Presley Haas, and she'll make the catch. That ball was in fair territory, so it would have been a fair ball. And she makes the catch to end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, 1 flyer left on. 3 complete here in Little Falls. Our score, Zimmerman 12, Little Falls nothing. Back after this short break here on Flyer Media Productions.
change? Pitcher, you said?
Yes, the DP is going to pitch.
Okay.
There's no batting order change.
Gotcha.
Just the DP is going to pitch.
I got it.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. Sorry about that, man. I forgot you were back there.
I'm very forgettable.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that.
So there is a pitching change for the Flyers. You probably see that on your screen. As Rachel Watucki is going to do the pitching duties now. Rachel in her first pitching opportunity of the 2019 season. Watucki was the designated player, so there will be no change in the batting order whatsoever. And that means Steinmetz will just sit on the bench, but she will still hit in the number 6 spot. So Watucki gets her warm-up tosses here. And we'll go to the top of the 4th inning, 12-0 lead here for Zimmerman. As we mentioned, Zimmerman also in action on Thursday at Foley, but as we mentioned with the weather coming in, most likely there's going to be some cancellations and a lot of athletic directors that are going to have to scramble to figure out dates to change some of these games. First pitch on the way, lifted to left field. This ball going back, going, and over the fence, gone. The number 8 hitter right fielder, Maddie Hayes, gets her first home run of the season. And it is now 13-0 in favor of Zimmerman. And a good poke there. Kind of the hello, how do you do, welcome to the pitching circle. So the leadoff home run makes it 13-0 for Zimmerman, and that'll bring up the 9-hitter, Sylvia Lund. And her first pitch fouled back. Count is 0-1 on her. Lund comes in, make that 1 for 2 in this at-bat. She struck out in the second and also had a single in the second. That's when Zimmerman sent a total of 15 players. Or check that, actually was more than 15. They sent a total of 16 players to the plate back in the second. That pitch fouled back, count is 0-2. Watucki throwing strikes, that one a little bit low and in the dirt. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. Zimmerman leading 13-0. Flyers trying to see if they can get out of this inning and start manufacturing some runs. And they're going to have to start doing that soon because at the high school level, once you get to the 5th inning, if you're behind by more than 10 runs through 5 innings, the game would be over. This one lifted into center. Hudak coming in. She'll make the catch. And there's one away on Lund. Lund now 1 for 3 on the afternoon. One out, that will bring up the leadoff hitter, Riley Miller, who's 2 for 2. Single in the first, walk in the second, and also a single in the second. She takes a called strike there. Here's Watucki's pitch on the way and got her to chase after a high pitch, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Riley Miller. And this one lifted to right field. This will be out of play. And the count will hold at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here. In the top of the 4th. It's a little flare back to Watucki, and she makes the catch for the out. And there's 2 away. So 2 outs, and that'll bring up the 7th grader, the left fielder, Presley Haas. Haas still looking for her first hit. She does have an RBI, but it's due to a walk back in the second. And the first pitch to her is in there for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Rachel Watucki in her first inning of relief work and doing very well, minus surrendering the leadoff homer. Since then, she's got back-to-back outs on the flyout and the lineout, and now already ahead of Haas 0-2, and that pitch just missed. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch on the way. Called strike 3. And that will end the inning. 1 run on 1 hit. That was the home run by Maddie Hayes. No errors, nobody left on. 3.5 complete. Our score, Zimmerman now 13. Little Falls nothing. Back after this short break here on Flyer Media Productions.
Absolutely, yep.
We got Hayes, I see going to the
They got
mound.
6 for 8.
Okay.
And they have a new pitcher that was already in line.
Saw that.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. New pitcher on the circle. That is the gal that just hit the home run. That being Maddie Hayes. So Hayes comes in from right field, will pitch, and then going out to right field is going to be Tally Carlson. So Carlson now in right field, and Kenzie Oline will be on the bench as the starting pitcher is going to end the afternoon. We'll get the line on her in just a minute. First pitch there by Hayes to Zimmerman, or check that to Poser. Is ball 1. Here's the pitch on the way. That pitch right at the knees, and the count evens up at 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Pitch is high, and the count goes to 2-1 on Abby Poser, who's 0 for 1. She struck out swinging back in the first. 2 hits so far for the Flyers. They're looking for their first run. Trying to get a base runner on board. That pitch missed low, and the count goes to 3-1. Oline officially goes 3 innings, gives up 2 hits. Pitch is high, ball 4. And so reaching will be Poser. On the leadoff walk, brings up Vidu. V, 1 for 1. There's the first pitch to her, and that one is low for ball 1. Going back to Oline once again. Her line reads 3 innings pitched, 2 hits. She had 3 strikeouts. No walks, no runs, no hits batsman, no wild pitches. Filed off at the plate by Doe. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 13-0, Zimmerman leads. Little Falls needs to pick away at this, at least if they can get 2 or 3 this inning. Slowly start picking away at this. Called strike. There goes the runner. Poser. Throw is down. Tag not applied in time. And in safely there will be Poser. So Poser gets the second on the stolen base in scoring position. And now Doe will see if she can bring her in. The 1-2 pitch by Hayes in the dirt. And the count will even up at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 offering by Hayes to Doe. This one lifted in the infield. Coming in is Wiley. And the first baseman will make the catch for out number 1. One away, and that will bring up the shortstop, Madison Siegler. Madison is 0 for 1 today. Ground out to third back in the second inning. Pitch by Hayes in there for a strike, and the count is 0-1 on the shortstop, Siegler. Still got a decent wind coming in from right field. There's a pitch that's low, and the count evens up at 1-1, so 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Poser trying to see if she can maybe advance here on some kind of ball, and then it'll be a base hit. She'll definitely advance. And the brakes were put on by head coach Tony Kuchar. Throw was up the line, but that'll give a chance for Siegler to heads up base running and go from first to second. So now you got runners at second and third, 1 out. And that'll bring up Allie Steinmetz, who lifts this one to short right center field. Coming in, can't make the catch. There's Johnson. Poser will come in to score. And you'll have runners on the corners. Now the ball gets away and is thrown to the backstop, but staying put at third will be Madison Siegler, and the Flyers have their first run of the game. Steinmetz will get an RBI on that. Good effort by Johnson in center field. She just couldn't catch up to it. Tried a nice backhand attempt. Here's Capan now. Squares to bunt, pulls back. And the pitch is low. And the count is 1-0 on Carly Capan. Siegler at third. Steinmetz is at first. See if Steinmetz maybe takes off here. The count is 1-0. Pitch on the way, and there she goes, and they'll give her the base. So once again, runners in scoring position at second and third, 1 out. 13-1 now is our score. And the count is 2-0 on Capan. Swing and a miss. Got a good hack at that. Just swung over it. And the count goes to 2-1 now on Carly. Capan digs in on the right side. Hayes' pitch took a little off that and kind of fooled Capan there, the changeup, and it's now 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on second and third for the Flyers. Changeup, that nearly hit her. And the count runs full at 3-2, making Catherine is on deck. Full count, 1 out. Here's the 3-2 offering by Hayes. This one lifted over the glove of Haas, the shortstop. That's going to send 2 runs in. That goes all the way to the fence, and it's going to be a stand-up double for Carly Capan. And it's now 13-3. So the Flyers slowly picking away at this lead by Zimmerman. And a 2-run double there by Capan scores Siegler and Steinmetz. And is given a little bit of life here by the Flyer bench. And that'll bring up Megan Catherine. Pitches in the dirt, ball 1. Catherine singled back in the third, her first hit of the season. She's hitting 200 on the year, 1 for 5. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Runner on second is Capan. Pitch by Hayes in there for a strike. Capan going to try to steal third, and she is safe. She got underneath the tag there of Putnam. As the throw down there by Tempesta was a good one. And it looked like they had her. But sliding in there and stealing third, very unconventional. Puts her in very good position here. And the count now 1-2 here on Catherine, so any hit definitely to the right side or to the outfield probably will score Capan. And that one tapped at the plate. And the count will hold at a ball and 2 strikes. 3 runs across here so far for the Flyers on 3 hits. Here's the pitch on the way. Called strike 3. And there's 2 outs. So 2 away, and that will bring up the pitcher now, Rachel Watuki. And Watuki, a little flare back to Hayes, makes the catch and ends the inning. Flyers do come up with 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, 1 runner left on. 4 complete, our score, Zimmerman 13, Little Falls 3. Back after the short break here on Flyer Media Productions. Flyers softball this afternoon here on Flyer Media Productions. Once again, thanks to the students behind the scenes doing an outstanding job with the camera work and also the directing. And of course, the advisors once again for Flyer Media Productions are Karen Warner and Mark Deal. James Hershey hanging out here, broadcasting a little softball, enjoying it today and getting a little sunshine, a little cool though. Even dressed up in like I normally do for hockey, and I'm colder out here because of the wind. Flyers trailing by 10, so that means they at least have to come up with 1 more run in the bottom half of the 5th. But before they can do that, they need to make sure they get Zimmerman out here without scoring anything in the top half of the 5th. Ella Haas is the batter. And she sends this one down the left field line, long distance, but well foul. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Ella. Ella's 2 for 2. Check that, 0 for 2. She did walk back in the second and scored, and that was that 11-run second inning. This one popped up out of play. And the count will hold at a ball and 2 strikes. 13-3 is our score. So we're in the top of the 5th inning. Flyers able to scratch back some runs there, at least in the bottom of the 4th, to try to keep things alive here. Pitch missed outside by Watuki, and the count evens up at 2-2. Second inning of work here for Rachel Watuki. This one fouled back, out of play, and nearly hit the envoy. That probably wouldn't have made somebody happy. Especially in the Flyer Media Productions truck. Here's the 2-2 offering. It's high, and the count will run full at 3-2. As we mentioned, the upcoming games for both these teams on Thursday, but weather permitting, that probably is not going to happen. This one popped up to the left field. This will be in foul territory. Capan going over and can't make the catch in foul territory. And it'll just be a long foul ball, and the count goes still full at 3-2. So if they don't play on Thursday, the next opportunity the Flyers would have would be the Tuesday, April 16th, a week from today, when they would travel to Malacca. Of course, depends on how much snow we get and how the fields handle it. Pitch just missed outside. Saw that on your screen, and it'll be a walk. First issue there by Rachel Watuki today. So Haas is on the leadoff walk. And that is going to bring up the batter now, Tally Carlson. Tally coming in for Kenzie Oline. She was the pitcher and then went in for a substitutional change. Gets her first at bat here. First pitch you saw was in there for a strike. Second pitch is a ball, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 offering, and that one tapped at the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. The game on Thursday was also supposed to be aired on Flyer Media Productions, but like I said, most likely it has not officially been canceled yet. But looking at forecasts and the potential of anywhere from 10 to 20 inches of snow, it probably is a good probability it won't be played. Here's the 2-2 offering, and that one high, and the count is full at 3-2. The next softball broadcast, if that doesn't happen, will then be on May 3rd when they take on Jamestown here. And then on May 7th against Pierce. So those are some future girls softball games here on Flyer Media Productions. That was a walk, and it looks like we're going to get a substitution here. And it looks like it's going to be Maddie Hammer that's going to come in now. So Maddie Hammer will come in. So Hammer comes in for Putnam. And she'll get her first at bat of this game. And the first pitch she sees is in there for a strike. So back-to-back walks here to start the 5th inning. Runners on first and second for the Thunders. Tapped at the plate. Foul. The count evens up at 1-1. So we mentioned the first baseball broadcast, April 26th. That'll be Little Falls taking on Alexandria. The Flyers today on the road taking on Albany in baseball. That should be a good battle today. There's that baseball conference, not only conference but section, a very tough section. Here's the pitch on the way. Ground ball right side, and it takes a bad hop over Catherine into right field. And coming in to score from second will be Haas. And it is now 14-3. And there's nothing you can do on that. That's going to be actually a base hit. As Catherine didn't even touch it, it bounced. It just kind of hit a rut, bounced right over her glove. And runners now in the corners. And Wiley is the batter. Wiley's 2 for 3. So Carlson at third. Hammer is at first. And this one gets away from the catcher as the throw there, and the throw up the baseline, and safe in there is Carlson for run number 15 for Zimmerman, and it's now 15-3. And the count is 2-0 here on the batter, that being Hope Wiley. That'll be charged officially a wild pitch to Watuki and scored the run. On that play, also Hammer moved over to second. So the count now 3-0 on the batter, Hope Wiley. Here's the 3-0 offering in there for a strike, and the count goes to 3-1. 15 runs so far in here for Zimmerman. And looking at my numbers on a total of 10 hits. That pitch missed high, and it's a ball, and it'll be ball 4. So one thing the Flyers have struggled at today is some walks. Steinman's had 5 in her 3 innings of work, and now 3 this inning by Rachel Watucki, who's actually was throwing pretty well around the plate, but has kind of struggled this inning. And the first pitch is a ball to Maddie Johnson. Second pitch swung on and missed. And the count now is even up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Hammer at second. Wiley's at first. Maddie Johnson, who's 1 for 2, lifts this one to center field. Hudak's got a beat on it. She'll make the catch. And it'll be the first out of the inning. 1 away, and that will bring up Maddie Hayes. And the last time Hayes came up, she sent the ball into the batting cage, which is on the other side of the fence in left field for a home run. Fouls this one back. Sends that nearly to the parking lot. And the count is 0-1 on Hayes. Hayes is 1 for 2 with the home run. She's got a walk and a fielder's choice. Tookie lost the handle of that one and rolled it into the plate for a ball. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike to the batter, Maddie Hayes. Pitch on the way. Right at the letters for strike, and the count is 1-2. Zimmerman, as we mentioned, plays Foley on Thursday, then Monticello next Monday, and then Albany next Tuesday. There's a ground ball. This is going to be a forced tag of Hammer there, and a good job there by Poser to just make sure she got it in the glove, turned to the baseline, and put the tag on Hammer for out number 2. So an unassisted put out there. That'll read U5. There's 2 away. Hayes reaches on the fielder's choice. Her second time today she's done that. And then Lund comes up, ground ball. Siegler throws it over to Doe, and that throw a little bit strong. And it bounces off of Doe's glove. And everybody is safe. And that will be a fielder's choice, but an error. And that'll go on the shortstop. So the bases are loaded, 2 outs, and it'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Riley Miller. It's the 5th time Miller has come to the plate here, and we're in the 5th inning. Miller is 2 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Fouls this one over my head and out of play. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way. Bases are loaded, and that one just outside, or checked that inside, and almost got away there from Zimmerman because good job of keeping in front of her. 2 outs here. Count sits at 2-1. Here's the pitch in the dirt. And it's now 3-1, and no place to put the leadoff hitter, Miller. Already 2 more runs across this inning. There's a called strike. Count runs full at 3-2, and this will send the runners in motion with the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. So any sort of base hit should score at least 2. Here's Watucki's pitch on the way. Ground ball picked up by Siegler on a hop. Her throw over to first. Catherine makes the catch, and then that'll end the inning. 2 more runs come across on just 1 hit. There was 1 error and 3 runners left on base. 4.5 complete, our score. Once again, it's 15-3 Zimmerman over Little Falls. Back after this short break here on Flyer Media Productions.
17 re-entered for 18.
We go to the bottom of the fifth inning, 15-3 on the scoreboard. They have it as 16-3, but it's 15-3 because they'd scored just 2 runs that inning. So with that being said, they need to at least score 3 runs to continue this game. The Flyers here in the bottom of the fifth. Sadie Sue Hudak, the leadoff hitter, rips this one down the left field line, but it's foul. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Sadie Sue is 0 for 2 so far today. Looking for that first hit. Coming in, she was 6 for 7. So far she is 6 for 9 on the season. Swing and a miss. Second inning work here for Maddie Hayes. Here's the 1-2 offering on the way, and a ground ball foul. And the count holds at 1-2. Three-run inning last half inning or for the Flyers back in the fourth. Here's a ground ball. Good stop there by Ella Hosser. Quick throw over to Wiley. And they get Hudak out at least by a couple of strides. Bang, bang play there on the 6-3 putout, and there's one away. It's going to bring up Savea. And I think now they just caught what I thought. It's 15-3. Yep, that's correct. So they changed it on the scoreboard. So it's still 15-3 is the score. They need to get 3 runs here. And first pitch is low for ball 1 to Zimmerman. Here's the pitch by Hayes. Popped the glove there, but the pitch was a ball, I believe. And it's now 2-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Nice changeup there by Maddie Hayes. Hayes came in relief in the start of the fourth. She did give up 3 runs. Ground ball, and that is through. No, good job stop there by Haas, but her throw is past first base. There was no way they were going to get her anyway. A great stop, though, deep in the hole there by Ella Haas. She did attempt to make the throw over, but Zimmerman Cameron was already at first, so the officially 6th hit of the game for the Flyers. And that will bring up Abby Poser. Poser reached on a walk and scored last inning. So eventually the Flyers at least need to score 3 runs here to make this game continue. Runner on first. And here's the pitch by Hayes. In there for a strike, and the count 0-2 now on Abby Poser, who's 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Walked and scored back in the fourth. Vito is on deck. Here's the pitch on the way. Popped up. The runner was going, so now Zimmerman has to go back, and the catch is made at second by Miller, and there's now 2 away. So 2 outs, and that'll bring up Vido. And there goes the runner. The throw down, not in time. So Zimmerman is now at second. Doe needs to find a way to get on here, as the Flyers need to come up with 3 runs this inning to extend the game. Count is 0-2 on Doe. Here's the offering by Hayes. Change up, swing and a miss. And that's ball game. So the swinging strike, and that will end it. And your final in this one is 15-3 in favor of Zimmerman over Little Falls in a total of 5 innings. Let's get some totals here. First of all, in that half inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on. In the game, Zimmerman had 15 runs on a total of 10 hits. In the field, they had no errors, and there were 6 runners left on base. For the Flyers, they had 3 runs on a total of 6 hits. Flyers had 5 errors, and Little Falls had also 6 runners left on base. Your winning pitcher is Kenzie Oline, and your losing pitcher is Allie Steinmetz. With the win, Zimmerman improves their record now to 2-0 in the Granite Ridge, and they go to 2-1 overall. With the loss, the Flyers are now 0-2 in Granite Ridge play, and they are 0-3 overall. Up next for both teams, they're scheduled to play on Thursday. Little Falls will play at home here against Albany, and Zimmerman will travel on the road to take on the Foley Falcons. Those obviously will be weather dependent coming up on Thursday. What do you say, Mark? Are we good? Mark Deal says that's a pretty much guaranteed snow out, I guess. So, well, once again, special thanks to all the students that made it possible. Do you have that list of students at all, or do you want to let us know who those students were? As Mark's going to grab the headset really quick. It's all tangled up, but that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, James. So we had Austin Moore running graphics for us tonight, and Noah Stang running the third base camera, and Matthias Bermel running the first base camera for us tonight. So a couple of 7th graders and a junior helping us out tonight, James.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And I know that this is just a great thing that you guys have done over the past few years. I know Dave Gertz and yourself and Karen Warner have got this going, and it seems like you're getting more and more kids that are getting more and more interested in this as it continues on.
Yeah, and the surprising thing is that the interest is down at the younger grades.
Yeah.
It's at the middle school, and we've got 4 5th grade boys over at Lincoln that put together the morning news for Mr. Alholm every morning, and they are hot to get going on some of these broadcasts, and so we'll have them over here to help us with baseball and softball a little later on, but we had enough of the older kids tonight to make it go. But, you know, it's really exciting for the future of Flyer Media Productions because we've got this group coming up, and we actually have about 10 kids over at the middle school right now that are really interested in doing these broadcasts, which will enable us to keep going for the years to come. And, of course, we're grateful for the partnerships that we have with people like you and Corey and with the radio station willing to let us, piggyback on your audio feed. that's huge for us because we have kids that think they'd like to do play-by-play. It turns into one of these. Well, there was a pitch.
Although it's, hopefully if there is somebody that's watching this that maybe say, hey, I'd love to try this, I'd love to have somebody help me out. Or, we did that a couple of years ago. I know there were a few kids that were in the high school that did have some interest, and they did help out. And, it's kind of a great learning, shadowing experience so they can get more comfortable and feel like maybe eventually they can do it on their own. Because, even like myself, back when I was in high school, I did this on cable access, and it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing as when you're a 17, 18-year-old kid compared to now somebody that's, we just won't say age now.
Yeah, it would be great if we had some students that wanted to get into more of the play-by-play and to shadow you a little bit. And over the years, we have had a few of those, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we have some kids that would like to do that again. We've had some conversations with Mr. Jordan about is there a way that, we could have teams helping each other out with and helping us out.
Right.
And, you could members of the boys basketball team assist with doing play-by-play of a girls basketball game and vice versa. The challenge for that is so often they're playing on the same night.
Yes.
And then they're in different locations, and so we rely on some volunteers to come in. And so if we have people from the community that would love to help out, we'd love to have them, and they can work alongside the kids. But until we get that huge base, we're just really grateful for people like you and who are willing to come in. And your hockey sidekick Jamie Pettit helps us a lot, and I really appreciate that because that's a big deal for him to come down from Wadena to help out with those games. And I know he's doing a lot of those for you with the radio, but he also comes down and fills in when you have to be gone for a girls hockey game and helps us out that way. So really appreciative of all the people that help out. I
was going to call him today and ask him if he wanted to join me because I know him and Tony have a really good relationship, but I got to believe he'd probably be saying, maybe not today. I don't know if my heater would work well enough for this today because I could have sure used the heater today. It was kind of cool out here, though. At least we got a game in today, and as you mentioned, it probably won't have a game coming up this Thursday, but there will be future broadcasts on Flyer Media Productions of softball and baseball, and that'll be coming up very soon.
Yeah. So our next broadcast is scheduled for Thursday, but it sure doesn't look. The weatherman sure is telling us that there's going to be a lot of white stuff falling, so I don't think we'll be playing any softball. But April 26th, we'll have a baseball game with the boys. Corey Fink will be doing that one for us. It'll be a radio game as well. And then on the softball side, coming up, we'll have the Piers game, May 7th, I believe that is. And then we're doing the Jamestown softball game, which is on Friday, May.
It's 3rd, I think.
3rd, yes. And then on the baseball side, we've got the matchup against Cathedral, and we're doing the matchup against, I believe we have Albany here, and
I think there's some back-to-back games.
More. Yeah, there's one more. I think there's a doubleheader in there. It's a scheduled doubleheader that we'll have. So we planned for 4 of each. Of course, those are weather dependent, and when we send out the schedule to the kids, we tell them these are the days that they're going to happen if the game gets rained out, or in this case snowed out.
Right.
Thursday likely. We don't try to make those up during the softball and baseball season. It's too hard to rearrange everyone's schedules.
And of course, you not only are you covering the sports, but you have activities that you cover too throughout the season too, throughout the year. And I'm sure there are some spring things still coming up for that too.
Yeah, we recorded the Jazz Night. That's available on our YouTube channel and also on Charter Local 181. It's playing on a delayed broadcast basis, replay basis, but it's also available to stream online. And we'll do the Grand March for prom coming up on the 27th of April. And then May gets crazy because you have high school band and choir concerts, separate nights. You have middle school band and choir concerts, and then there's so the choir for middle school will be 6, 7, 8 in one night. The band gets split up because they put the 5th and 6th graders together a night, and then the 7th and 8th graders a night. And then you have the scholarship night, and for the seniors. And then we stream and broadcast the baccalaureate service. We'll have graduation.
Right.
We have the activities banquet coming up on May the 6th. And so there's just lots of stuff that goes on in May. And so one of the reasons why we can't reschedule events is because we have all these other ones lined up to be able to do anyway. And there's a couple of nights where we're doing a softball game, and hopefully they get done at 6:30 or something, and then we're going to be doing a middle school band or choir concert that same night. So lots going on.
Lots to go on.
Going on.
Well, thank you so much to you, to Karen Warner, and obviously with the administration of that for Flyer Media Productions and all the students behind the scenes, and hopefully people that are watching that enjoy this. And there was one question I was always asking. I guess I will ask you that question, even though we're on the air here, and I don't know if you have the answer. But the question was: is there ever a chance in the future of going, besides doing games at home, maybe doing some road games in the future? I know I've had some people that have commented about that before.
Yeah, that question comes up all the time. Could we take it on the road? And right now the answer is no.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, sometimes the host school is really not interested in trying to accommodate, and they don't have the capacity for us to come in and have a plug-in to be able to put stuff back up online. And two, excuse me, the other issue that we're fighting is just how do we transport the kids and get them there?
Right.
And so, we're trying to work on that second problem in terms of getting a vehicle that would be dedicated for Flyer Media Productions to be able to take kids and go out of town. But for so many events, getting out of town is, if there's an out-of-town event, there's also an in-town event. And
right.
So, it's pretty rare that we probably would do out-of-town events. Likely those would be section-type, state playoff-type games that we would try to do. I'd love to try to, if the Flyers get back down to the MAC again at some point in hockey, I'd love to try to get down there.
That'd be fun.
If baseball can make a run, it'd be great to go over to St. John's and try to do one of the games from there.
Right.
But
it's a busy enough schedule the way it is, isn't it?
It is a busy schedule the way it is, but it just poses unique challenges.
It does
to get people there and to do those things. But we do take our equipment and we do go out. We've been contracted to do some keynote events for the Minnesota Rural Education Association, and they have a conference every year up in Craigens, and so that's kind of a fun experience for the kids that are really kind of our high-end kids.
Yep.
That are really good kids. We'll take them, and it's a special treat for them. It's a couple of nights up at Craigens. It's three recordings that we're responsible for, and one of them we have to live stream. So that's a really fun experience for the kids because they have to set up, tear down, set up, tear down, set up, tear down, and really be on their A game and bring a more professional product than they already do right now. So,
right. Absolutely.
But those are fun things to do as well. So we try to get the kids a mix of both athletics, but also different experiences that they can try and help with.
Well, thanks so much for the post-game interview.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think
Tony's
Tony's
still
all
out there.
tied up.
We're gonna let him be, and we're gonna wrap things up here so everybody can get home here in the daylight still, and maybe get warmed up too. So once again, thanks so much,
Yeah.
Mark, for allowing me to do this, and thanks again to all your students.
Yeah, thanks for joining us and helping us out today, James.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it very much.
Final score once again of this broadcast: it was Zimmerman 15, Little Falls 3. That in 5 innings. For Mark Deal, for Karen Warner, for all the students, I'm James Hershey saying a very good afternoon here on Flyer Media Productions.